Hi everybody. So this is we're doing the initial deburr of the flat pieces, starting off with the front ribs and some doublers and some aileron brackets. And I got my trusty Dremel tool out. So I think there's 16 front ribs total. 8 left, 8 right. So you have to go and file them, then you need to deburr all the holes, then you need to deburr all the flanges. So the system I found that worked the best, and I think I may have talked about this before, deburring is not a difficult process. It's just squeezing every single second out of it is really the only thing that you can do. This isn't, this isn't skilled labor, this is just manual labor. So I found the easiest thing was just to make sure that you always had a tool in your hand and you were always working. Even just switching tools can be time saving, because you stop and you inspect and you look, or like that fat ass right there, you just stare at your phone. So the 3 tools that I had to use for this: one, I had to use a flat file, and that was for rounding all the edges of the flanges of the front spar, which you need. Or actually 4 tools, sorry. Then, after that, I would go through with my whole deburr, quick deburr tool, and catch all of the pre-punched holes. Then go through with the Dremel tool, and that would get all the edges of all the flanges, and of course the top edges of the flanges as well, not just the sides, where the flanges come together, etc. And then at the end, I would flute. Alright, so 4 tools. So what I did was I just did them in groups. And in the beginning, I just did them in groups. The trick is to make sure that you just keep using the same tool, but not so long that you get completely bored with it and start skipping corners. If you find yourself, taking 30 seconds to do a rib, and then you find yourself taking 2 minutes to do a rib, or, chances are you're either overdoing it or you're just floundering around. Or if you go from 30 seconds from a rib, and then you go into 20 seconds for a rib, perhaps you're taking it too fast. Now that I say everything out loud, it really does sound ludicrous. I'm basically my own sweatshop foreman, trying to find the best way to deburr metal. If OSHA showed up, I would have to arrest myself for making myself a slave. I'm kidding. So yeah, 16 front ribs. There's 4 of... So I talked about the brackets before with the parallel bent flanges that you have to drill the holes into. Those are there, so you have to do 4 of those. 16 ribs, 8 left, 8 right. And I think those are the first pieces you do. You wind up getting into the main ribs later, but those are the number ones. Now there's also the parallel bracketed hinges. Those are the left hinges. There's also a set of 4 right ones, but you won't get to those until after you or once you start mocking up the aileron. Damn it, flap later. Still a good bit of news on the side. All the planes for the club are back home and safe, flying. I talked about the starter replacement before. That all got done, and then we got another plane that was kind of stranded in a separate airport with a slight crack in one of the valve heads. Not the valve head, but like in the cylinder where the valve meets. So a big crack there, so I had to do a field replacement of the cylinder. Flew it back, Where I should say it's got mineral oil in it now, flew it back. I'm trying to arrange a few long distance break-in flights. Lycoming suggests, well, it's all about oil stabilization, about burning the oil rate. So, you know, fly it at, 4,000 feet or less, 2,500 RPM. That's fixed pitch, so I mean that's pretty much wide open throttle, continuously for at least 2 hours each flight, just to try to seat the rings in the cylinders. And then you'll notice, because it'll go from burning a quart every 3 hours to burning a quart every, 10 hours. So anyway, it's all good news there. So we will continue deburring in the next video. See you soon.